you have to find a conference that has a good television deal. I mean, but another thing though, I mean, what black colleges have been able to do when it comes to offsetting some of those costs of traveling far is these classic and the classic games. Now, by going Division I, you're going to lose that. So you're going to have to.
Why would you lose it? Because if you wouldn't have the classic games. The major programs still have classic games.
How many conference teams you have?
I'm sorry.
It all depends on how many. What kind of conference you go to. If you go into a super conference with like 10, 12 teams, then, I mean, there's only 11 football games. So, 12 if you get a preseason game or whatever. So.
But Rick, if you go on a conference that large, they divide and play an east, west, north, south.
But if you look at the SEC, they play at least 8 or 9. Let's see, what is it, 12-team conference? They play at least 9 conference games. So, I mean, I still think you would lose out on a little bit of that. I mean, because suppose FAM and BCU aren't in the same conference. Or they don't go Division I together. All right, then, will BCU continue?
Hey, Rick, we're losing you. You sound like you muffled again.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
Suppose Florida A&M and BCU aren't in the same conference, okay? Suppose BCU doesn't go D1. Then would BCU continue to want to play FAM? Would that be their quote-unquote guarantee game? Because eventually that game is going to get lopsided. That game is going to it's not going to be as competitive.
Rick, stop. Lopsided in whose favor? Right now, Florida A&M is beating Bethune-Cookman. So
right now, but they're on the same playing field right now.
Right.
But if FAM goes, and I'm just using FAM as an example, if they go D1, eventually those extra scholarships are going to push them further beyond. Where BCU is going to be like, okay, you have to give us $500,000 to play.
No, not with the
classics. Then you lose that classic feel. You lose what the classic is basically about when that happens. So that's why I say that, Coach.
And I don't think so. Rick, I think if Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman play, regardless of what they play and at any level, it's going to still be an intense rivalry. If Florida State, when we played, we meaning the women's basketball team at Florida A&M played Florida State, people were there regardless of the level. So it's intensity that exists, period. But your comment about the classic games, there's a faction that says there's a lot of teams that don't play classic games. And they've done the classic games and they've made them rivalries and they've been very beneficial. The way the NCAA is going right now today, they're trying to keep the larger institutions, the FBS schools, from even scheduling the FCS schools. And some conferences are saying you can't play them. Now, if you end up going FBS, no matter what the league is, you could still get paid to come to those games because you're in the same division they're in. And for a lot of schools that have lost, getting ready to lose that guaranteed money because those schools are not going to allow them to play, it keeps that avenue open.
When you say, I keep thinking about Georgia Southern playing Florida last year and beating them. And how cool that was. But they don't play them every year. I don't see the benefit of how that benefits the Florida A&M or FBS school to play a lower level school every year, because it's not boosting you up for strength of schedule. If you lose, that's the coach's death knell, basically. That's why I just don't think that's why I think the classics would be dead because of this, especially unless they're on the same level. I don't think in the long term it will work.
Okay, you're entitled to your opinion, as long as it may be, but you're entitled to your opinion.
Well, hey Rick, I guess I'm going to be
respect my elders.
I'm glad you still remember that.
Well, Rick, this one of your elders is going to agree with you to a great degree too on this, so I guess I'll be disrespecting my elder too.
No, listen there.
But I do believe that in the long run, you would lose some of your traditional rivalries. Right now, you're talking about both schools being in Division I, and one went up to the Football Bowl division, and one stayed at the Football Championship division, which is what most black HBCUs are right now. I believe in the long run, the scholarship situation would catch up. And the team with the 65 scholarship would not be wanting to play the one with the 85 scholarships on a regular basis. There's going to be such an imbalance that at some point the 85 scholarship school is going to want to host the game every year.
And they may, but you know what's going to happen in those cases? The presidents are going to step in and say, you know what? You got to play this game. We've been playing in Birmingham every year. We're going to play this game in Birmingham every year and continue to play it, and we're going to split it like we've been doing. Because there's so much money on the table for it.
But presidents have egos too.
Yeah, but they also count dollar signs. You know, and I remember when Florida A&M and Troy State played, that was because the presidents ended up being on the same plane. And when they were on the same plane flying into Tallahassee, they got upset because they found out the programs wasn't playing each other. And they said, we're 90 miles away. We need to play in everything. So the presidents decreed it, and that's what opened up the relationship where Troy State and Florida A&M University started communication. But you take the Alabama State and Alabama A&M and that Bowl City Classic and all the people that come up there, they're not getting ready to lose that money. Mm-hmm. Neither one of them have a facility that can hold that number of people.
Would you rather play basketball in a big fancy stadium or in a small driveway? Yes.
A big fancy stadium.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Because you could fit more fans in there.
Oh, do you have a lot of fans?
Yes.
You believe in yourself?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
No, I meant to raise my hand.
Oh.
It's not complicated. Bigger is better. And AT&T has the nation's largest 4G network.
You look at facilities, Alabama State's football team has a great facility. They have great facilities in baseball, softball. Out of the SWAC, their team is about ready to make a move. Mm-hmm. I mean, they were all sports champion this year and have been first or second the last couple of years right there with Jackson State. So there's a couple of them that are looking and ready to make a move and could probably do well. Tennessee State's another one. I mean, in the MEAC, I don't know who's ready. I don't know if
anybody's ready.
Yeah. Traditionally, it used to be Florida A&M. Mm-hmm. And out of everybody who's in the MEAC, Florida A&M is probably still the closest, and Hampton. There would be two that I would consider might be the closest, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're that close. Rick, what you think?
I totally agree with that. When it comes to the MEAC, I'm not sure if we're right around the corner from that. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, I know we're not right around the corner. And like I agree with you with Tennessee State, definitely. I think they are getting closer. And Alabama State probably is too, although I think they have to show up a few things, especially on the academic end. Because remember, all the standards go up once you go up. Mm-hmm. Everything goes up as well. So they have to get from the NCAA compliance issues, everything goes up. You have to, and you have to be prepared for that. I know teams in the MEAC aren't ready for that yet. And as far as the other schools, they may be a little closer, but I don't think it's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 years, guys. I just don't see it happening. Not yet.
Mm-hmm. And you think that lack of money is the main deterrent for this not happening?
I think so. I really do. And a lack of the long money, of the old school money, of a foundation, because you have to have a foundation. You have to have that boosters, like the Gator. What are they called? Gosh, it's
the Bull Gators. Bull Gators.
Yeah, the Bull Gators and all that. You need that kind of funding to have a successful program.
Hey, Rick, I told Mickey this many times, and this is just a real short example of that happening. Back in the early 1970s, University of Pittsburgh was they were 1-10, and they had a meeting to decide whether they were going to drop football or put the money into it that they thought they needed to be competitive. Notre Dame wanted to drop them, Penn State wanted to drop them, and Syracuse wanted to drop them. They had a meeting, and they decided they were going to go ahead and put the money into it.
And look at them now.
Right, look at them now. The head of the Pitt Golden Panthers wrote a check for $1 million that day. And he got 6 other guys to write similar checks. And that's what you're going to have in order to do this. You can't have just one guy. You can't ride on just one guy. You're going to have a lot of boosters, and you're going to have a lot of bull gators, to use your example, to get this done.
Yeah, and then that opens up another can of worms. But still, you need the funding. You need that foundation. Because if you don't have that, then it's not going to be successful.
Well, gentlemen, this is a good topic that we had a lot of discussion on. We're going to come back later on and discuss who we think the top programs are in HBCU athletics and kind of look at the top 5. And we're going to talk about who those top 5 programs are. But for today, we're going to take a break, and I'm going to come back with the coach's comments. But I want to thank our host, Rick Brown from the Lakeland Ledger, and Clayton Smith for your candor that is becoming a trademark of yours. And Rick, we appreciate you being with us.
Okay, Coach, anytime. I appreciate it. Clayton, good seeing you again.
All right, take care now.
And Insights is going to be back after this break, and we'll be with the Coach's Corner again. Insights, INSIIGHTS, 2 I's in the middle. Follow us. We want to hear what your opinion is on this hot topic. We'll put your comments on next week's show. Cody's on Capitol Circle Northeast is the home of Insights on Monday nights. Try the all-you-can-eat soup and salads. For me, I love the wings, especially the hot ones. Cody's.
Hi, sports fans. I'm Lynn Thompson, athletic director at Bethune-Cookman University. When I need to know information, I listen to Insights with Nikki Clayton.
1, 2, talk that talk.
Welcome to the Coach's Corner. Far too often, people get comfortable with who and where they are. They settle. Our colleges are institutions of higher learning. They encourage their students to think outside the box. They teach those students to become viable contributors to their communities. And the institutions help transform these students into creative, innovative, technology-efficient leaders of tomorrow. In the past, HBCUs were far too slow to embrace change. That's not really a fault. Time changes things, and smaller schools found themselves in a battle for struggle. The HBCUs were in a fight to maintain financial integrity, declining enrollment, and higher challenges to acquire funding. Athletics has had to be self-sufficient. Where athletics receives funding from various sources, it's an ever-ending, ongoing struggle to maintain a fiduciary responsibility. Is athletics important? Absolutely it is. Athletics is an integral part of an institutional landscape. A strong, viable athletic program builds tremendous goodwill. It fosters school loyalty. It attracts more university contribution. It increases student enrollment and positively brands a university. And that in itself leads to greater corporate sponsorships. There cannot be an exodus of HBCUs to go to FBS football. There are just not that many that are ready, and we can't afford to fail. But we need that institution that can think outside the box. We need that creative, innovative, technology-efficient, budget-conscious, fundraising athletic director and president today. We just need that Jackie Robinson of HBCU athletics, one that everybody can cheer on and show that we can do it. Who will be that institution to lead us? Who can it be? But we need them.
1, 2, talk that talk.
Thanks to the crew. Alvin Hollins, our director and sometimes co-host. Clayton Smith, our co-host. Arnett Moore, our music producer. Julio, the voice of one, our blogger. And our producer, Gerald Tooks of G Square Productions. Talk to you soon. Insights.
Talk that talk.
Insights is a copyright of Mac 4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises and is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac4 Enterprises. The comments of the host and other individual speakers